Peace, chiefs, and deers. It's Bronzebird here with another video. Before I begin, like and subscribe. Thank you. So I wanted to take this opportunity of sharing this whole entire viewpoint about a restaurant that wants to take code of conduct or the dress conduct into their own hand, based on the idea that there has been a lot of customers complaining about other customers coming into the restaurant however they want. And I've been slowly seeing this being applied to school settings and certain places like restaurants, other restaurants as well, where a lot of people are starting to give in to the fact of the matter that the essential core program and gang culture is taking to effect that everyday people are doing it and not realizing how much of an effect it's having on the nation itself. And with this being said, you know, there's going to be a lot of pushback, of course, that you're later going to see in this article. Shout outs to mediatakeout.com. That you're going to see that a lot of people are going to try to defend the right of wearing whatever they want when it goes to a restaurant and trying to say, oh, who are you to tell me what to wear, and all these trite and frivolous claims against the restaurant and try to say all these different things. Now, when I had started looking at this article as well, I do understand it is a so-called Black business. And usually with so-called Black people, they give a lot more heart of the time to so-called Black businesses. Now, if it was a restaurant that was owned by a so-called Asian person, a so-called Indian, or so-called white people, or people of other nations, I don't think that they would receive the same flack as a so-called Black business. And the thing about it is, so-called Black people have a lazy attitude when it comes to so-called Black businesses just because they are their people. So they believe that the owners of the restaurant should give them more leeway and shouldn't say a lot of different things just because they are the same people. But a lot of people still forget it's still a business. They still have to generate income just like everybody else. And so be it if they want to go along with a dress code because they find it very unfashionable that their service is being affected, then there should be some noise being made about it. There should be a topic of conversation that should be talked about. This should go on. So I'm going to read this article so you guys can understand what's going on and, you know, how they're reacting to this whole thing. So let's check it out. Shout outs to London on this article. Houston's turkey leg hut goes viral, announces new high-class dress code. Turkey Leg Hut, a popular Houston casual dining restaurant, is enforcing a new dress code policy, the company announced Friday. The Third Ward restaurant said the guidelines are necessary to ensure all customers and staff are dressed appropriately. Owner Nakia Price said that they have received complaints from customers regarding other guests' wardrobe choices, which only tells me in the back of my head, usually you had a good amount of so-called Black women in particular, or the women in particular, and I mean not even just based on race, that you had a good amount of women that came into the restaurant dressed like they just came from the club or they just woke up, and, you know, a lot of people had to say something about that. Got these girls probably walking out here with leggings, and you can see them wearing thongs and wearing panties, and see what color their panties is, and also got I gotta laugh because I know how ratchet these women probably look like. You know what I'm saying? The long ass nails and, you know, the white top with the colorful bra on, making a whole entire scene in the restaurant, be like, you know, I just want some wings. I want some wings, y'all. You know what I'm saying? All this stuff. I'm pretty sure of it. But let's continue on. Unfortunately, due to the attire of some guests, we were forced to put this new policy in place as we remain committed to ensuring all guests are comfortable while visiting us, Turkey Leg Hut wrote on Instagram Friday. We are not a club. We are a friendly family-friendly restaurant and will continue to maintain our standards as we welcome everyone to the Turkey Leg Hut. And again, and let me make this for reference. I don't want to automatically say it's primarily so-called Black people that visit this restaurant and it's so-called Black women that's wearing those outfits, but I can't help but to think and to internalize or infer that it might be them. And it's nothing on them, but like I said before, this reminds me of the situation that happened with the brother last year, that happened with his restaurant, and they made a big stink about it because he felt some type of way about this woman coming up in his restaurant, sitting up there twerking and not having no respect. Now, I know this is not about twerking, it's about wardrobe, but just the fact of the matter, the unruly conduct of today. And I'm pretty much sure this is women that they're probably telling this to, but the men can come out there and wear all these wave caps and wear their jeans tight as ever and have their ass showing and stuff like that. The modern day woman and man is completely out of order, completely out of order. They have no respect for themselves. They think having respect for themselves and dressing appropriately has something to do with being quote unquote white and dressing more to the standards of white people, which is not even the case at all. It's just a sign of respect. It doesn't matter what race you are. But later in this article, you're gonna see that the Twitter responses is gonna have to be related to race. As in the trope, this is not who we are, that's not our culture, which is such a very bad way of putting things. But let's continue. According to the policy posted on Instagram, customers are not allowed to wear excessively revealing clothing, no obscene language, or baggy clothing, no house attire such as wave caps, do-rags, and house shoes, no exposed underwear garments, and no swimsuit attire, which I would probably guess is usually when these women come outside with the bikini tops and the high short shorts, you know what I'm saying? That's showing all their booty and all that. I'm pretty sure they're talking about that. Here is the exact details of the new dress code. Turkey Leg Hut dress code. No excessively revealing clothing, including distressed or ripped clothing that is revealing. Shorts must cover your entire bottom. And I knew it was gonna be this. I knew it was gonna be that. No obscene language or baggy clothing. No inappropriate graphics or language on clothing. No excessively baggy/sagging pants. No house attire. This includes wave caps, do-rags, house shoes, or shower caps, or bonnets. I'll put that in there as well. No exposed undergarments, including sports bras, panties, or any garments resembling these items. No swimwear of any kind is allowed. And I'm pretty sure you had the guys out there that was coming up in there with the swimming trunks on, and again, showing their drawers, probably in some uptowns or something like that. You know how they do. So these are the responses, and when you see these dumb Negroes make all these responses, sit up there trying to defend this mess and try to say, oh, well, who are y'all to tell us, and y'all gonna lose business, y'all gonna lose money. All because they're just asking for a simple thing to just come in there with respect. Just come in there looking appropriate. They're gonna find all these run out and lame ass excuses in order to strategize their points to make it seem like Turkey Leg Hut is in the wrong. But let's read these tweets. Duff Juice at DuffJuice30 says, the hashtag Turkey Leg Hut is full of shit because if a rapper and his 30-man entourage show up dressed straight hood ready to drop a bag, and you know that rapper is known for leaving extremely generous tips for the whole staff, the hashtag Turkey Leg Hut is letting them in no matter what the F they are wearing. And this is such, and it doesn't matter because once their rules is, and this is where they try to give it into the whole entire notion of embezzlement or being easily swayed because there's a popular public figure that comes into the restaurant, come in and show them love and drop money on them and tip them and stuff like that, kind of like hush money, like let me wear whatever I want because I am a public figure. And, just give me the treatment. Don't give me the same treatment like everybody else because I'm of high class and prestige. And which this brother is trying to allude to. And I think he's pretty much, shooting himself in the foot because once the rules is the rules, That's the rules. But the thing about it is with Duff Juice is that he's trying to look for in a hypocrisy in order to say hashtag turkey leg is just letting certain people off the hook, but not the main majority of people who come in the restaurant. Which, again, Negroes don't like to, a good amount of certain Negroes don't like to be held accountable into the things that they wear or the things that they do. They want to look for all these trite arguments and points in order to legitimize their points, which is completely off the record. It doesn't even make any sense. Now, no, I'm not going to even go into that. Let's continue. Rendezvous and whereabouts at Heroes Heroin. Turkey-led hut done lost they damn minds. It's hot as hell and the line be long AF for no reason. Who is about to be standing outside in a three-piece suit? And this is where they go with the whole entire psychosis and thinking that Turkey Leg Hut wants these people to be coming in looking like they're going for a job interview than to actually just be coming into the restaurant looking respectable and presentable just to be ordering some food. I don't even understand where in any of those guidelines did they say anything about a three-piece suit. They didn't say anything about that. But this is the ignorance of our people. The ignorance of our people believing just because Turkey Leg Hut is saying come in more appropriately, this doesn't mean that they want you to come in looking like I said, looking like you're going to a job interview or looking like you have to be very professional. They're just asking you to be presentable. At It's Gina Bid 94, when my Turkey Leg Hut order get declined on DoorDash, which I don't really understand what's the significance of that. This is just a brother in a bonnet and a cell phone and stuff like that, and you know, looking very feminine. A1 Sauce Money at A1 Sauce Money 2 says, at Turkey Leg Hut, about to fuck that bag up. Nobody's getting dressed up to sit in a tent. In which they have DeSeuss of the DeSeuss and Mero show. No, excuse me, Mero of the DeSeuss and Mero show. Jesus and Mero show saying, get the fuck out of here in a gif. And, you know, again, the ignorance is just really, the ignorance and the overall arrogance about a simple dress switch up is something they don't like to admit to because mainly they just don't care. And this society is starting not to care about dress codes in general. They want to blur the lines on the whole entire idea of dress codes and looking presentable, that you could just go anywhere you want. You can look however you feel and you can dress however you feel or look however you want, and you shouldn't be reprimanded for that. Sad, man. Glock Lesnar, which already by this name, I'm already feeling like this guy doesn't have, is going to speak on ignorance, just the fact of the matter he's referencing a gun. It already sounds like he's already sounding like a typical Negro. Let's look at it. At Jerome from Jers, nobody calling Turkey Leg Hut place racist, but it's idiotic to force your core demographic to adhere to standards that aren't in conjunction with the atmosphere or food style you serve. I gotta be dressed in my church clothes for a turkey leg or their naked wings. Suck my, okay. And that right there is exactly the problem with a good amount of these Negroes in these tweets. Again, if you look at the rules that they set in place, nobody's asking these people to dress that professionally. The only thing that they asked for was for y'all to dress presentably. That's the only thing that they asked for. They're bringing all these unnecessary combinations of regulated uniforms into an establishment that they're not asking you to do that. And of course, they're gonna say demographic, which is so-called Black people, in which so-called Black people, again, would rather put up a fight and do all these different things and fight about it. And you know how you end this off? Because I'm pretty sure these arrogant people is gonna do one or two things. They're gonna complain, right? They're gonna complain or try to strike the business. That's what they're gonna do. They're just gonna complain or they're gonna strike the business. That's all they're gonna do. Because so-called Black people have no understanding, have no real like understanding to what this means. And the whole entire time I said in this video, they're not asking you to dress professionally. They're just asking you to look presentable. Not women out here with their leggings or their short shorts on, showing the color of their panties, coming outside with their different color bras or dressing all provocatively looking like a slut, and men not dressing like gang members, dressing out here with your briefs picking out and your whole entire shirts that say all these different inappropriate things, because we know what those shirts are denoting. We know what those shirts are saying. So we have an understanding exactly what this means. But of course, this is about not taking accountability on both sides, the so-called black woman and the so-called black man, in which they want to create a whole entire friction just because the restaurant just wants them to look presentable so that they can decrease the complaints that's getting in so they can still generate revenue. They do not want to lose money. They want to still maintain their money and gain more money. So if they're getting these complaints from these other people, yes, they have to make sure that the customers is always right. So I don't even understand what this brother is even saying, but of course they're going to find a reason to relate uniforms in different corporations or different entities into the turkey leg hut to make it seem like the turkey leg hut wants them to be uniformed as well, which is not even necessarily the case. They're not asking for that. Genghis Kells at KM Jeezy, turkey leg hut is bugging, but I want people to stop thinking looking like bums everywhere they go is revolutionary. It's not. If the white folks are going to be racist regardless, then see how it don't make sense. This tweet doesn't make sense. And see, this is the regular stuff that, you know, a lot of these internet revolutionaries like to do. They like to always incorporate so-called white people into this whole entire argument to make it seem as if turkey leg hut is pandering to a specific nationality of people, this one being so-called white people, when it has nothing to do with this. And you see why so-called black businesses usually suffer when they're trying to do the right thing and when they're just trying to make it far for all parties and all nationalities who dare to patronize the restaurant themselves. This is the ignorance right here. Nowhere in their whole entire guidelines did they say anything about so-called white people complaining. It's just that they wanted to create the atmosphere and create the energy that turkey leg hut is basically saying mainly so-called white people are complaining about the customers who are usually so-called black people coming into the restaurant, which is a big fallacy if this is what this man is trying to relate that to. Sickening at best. Little Hawk at Young T-Hawk. Turkey leg hut must think they Ruth Chris. I don't know who Ruth Chris is. We in the middle or third ward. How the F you gonna tell me not to wear ripped jeans? Easy, don't wear ripped jeans. That's it and that's all. Maybe because you might be overweight, you might just naturally wear ripped jeans. But make sure you get it hemmed up, my brother. Alexandria Astro Petty at Dope Chick Beats. Wait, let me make sure I have this right. So this turkey leg hut is the one with the dress code? And I don't know what this relates to because it doesn't relate to anything. I don't know if she's giving off the notion that the restaurant is naturally ratchet in general or just the stereotypical so-called ratchet restaurant and then talking about the tents. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what she's trying to relate this to, but it's just a far beyond reach. But let me strategize my last points. I'm not going to even just relate this to so-called black people, so-called black women, and so-called black men. I just want to give off the notion that a good majority of people do not understand conduct, how to respect someone's establishments or someone's hard-earned money-making business just by doing something as simple as being appropriate when you come into a restaurant of there. Now, like I said before, they have an understanding if it's other nationalities, they wouldn't do the same thing. If it's an Asian person that notices that there's people coming up in their restaurant looking some type of way and they're losing money and they outwardly put the notices out there, hey, don't come into my restaurant looking like that. The so-called black person or, well, mainly so-called black people on average is gonna buck up and actually come in there looking more commendable because they still wanna give them money. And so sometimes I do feel sorry for a good amount of these so-called Black businesses that really are trying to have a professionalism about themselves and not trying to go with the status quo just because they're a so-called Black restaurant, that they should give so-called Black people leeway to do whatever it is that they want when it comes to their restaurant. You understand? And it's the same thing that happened with Kevin Kelly. It's the same exact thing. The same exact thing. And so with that being said, brothers and sisters, or people who's listening in there, just look at the way your world is turning, the reality of your world. And when it comes to these type of businesses, if you have a problem with it, it's two simple solutions. Either you just go in there for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, however your food, however long the wait is, and however the food takes to be made, just go in there and look appropriate real quick. It's not that much of a problem. Or just don't patronize the restaurant at all. Find a new restaurant that lets you dress however you want, whether you want to dress looking like a slut or whether you want to dress looking like a gang member or looking like a degenerate, and go in there and see how far it gets you. But beyond that, this is going further into the reality of our world and our society. How much they're trying to, which social engineering and social program did a good job at this, in which they're trying to remove the idea of morality or having a moral compass, in which people believe they can do whatever they want, the do without wilt chant, the do without wilt prerogative, and not be judged on what they do just based on what they say or all these different things. So otherwise than that, stay aware, family. Peace.